Hello, and welcome back to the Forge of Worlds. Alright, so, how about we just get straight into it, shall we? Onto the OneNote. Alright, so, there are a couple of things that we can work on today. I've actually got a plan for this time, because I didn't have one last time, but for today there's a couple of things we can work on. We can flesh out Forthel even further, because while we did work on the more fantastical elements, we haven't got all the more regular stuff. We haven't got all the plain old, the plain old people, regular people in the town. Can work on the broader strokes of the world's government, figure out who rules, where they rule, that kind of stuff. Or we can work on the religion and cosmology, so the deities, the things in the sky, where the world sits in the universe, and just come up with another one. Species. Figure out what species we do have, what species we don't have, how they intermingle within each other, so there's a couple of different things that we can work on today. Currently only have one viewer, but if you have any preference on what you would like to see, feel free to just let me know in stream chat. But until that point, waiting for a notification, I might just do a little bit more fleshing out of Forthel. Just keep going with what we had last week. So, if at any point someone wants to say what they want to see, just let me know. Now, within this town, the big thing we've got is the Barracks, who get most of their supplies from the blacksmith. But that's only the metal supplies. What else do you need to make weapons and armor? You need a couple things. Wood, a little bit, but mostly we'll be talking about leather. So there's going to need to be a leather worker. There's going to need to be a place to get it. I would assume that can probably just come from farmers and livestock, so we can leave it with that. But with that livestock, you'll use the skin to make leather, but you're going to need someone else to deal with everything else. So, you're going to need a butcher. Going to need... what's the person that boils down horses into fat to make soaps and candles and stuff? A renderer? I'm just going to call them a renderer for now. I'll say that the blacks... because they'd have to have horses. Oh, they'd have to have horses for the barracks, so they'll probably need stable. And I'll say the blacksmith and the farrier are the same person, just so that... just to keep it a bit simpler, and because the blacksmith is so big, they'll more than likely have the space for them. So how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Could probably add a decent amount more. There will need to be candle maker for light. A chandelier, I believe it's called. Thanks, Matt Colville. What else will we have? Got all the fantastical stuff, so we'll work on mostly the more mundane things in here. What supplies would people need? Well, Tom's traveling van travels around, probably needs someone to fix it from time to time if things get rough. So someone that works with wood can have a cartwright specifically for carts to work on for taking and for receiving and what's the word for receiving and giving carts, because the barracks will need them with the amount of people they have to both bring people through and to carry all their equipment when they move around. So there's going to need to be a cartwright to deal with that. Should there just be a plain woodworker as well? Yeah, they'll probably have a dedicated cartwright and a dedicated woodworker or woodworking team to help with all of that. The armorer can be in the blacksmith / bladesmith. Everything metal is done in there. That's one big area. In the barracks, they'll have that. Well, in the barracks, that's where people train to fight. When people fight, people die. So we'll add a cemetery. Cemetery. I feel like the traveling merchant, Tom's traveling van of trinkets. I feel like Tom will probably focus on the less mundane things, more of the higher end things, because this does have a major connection to the Abyss. People are constantly coming back and forth with major things, and Tom's traveling van is traveling, so it's not always there. So there's going to need to be a place for people to buy their regular goods while Tom is away. So let's have a general goods store, but this is mostly for local people, so they mostly just sell green tools. The blacksmith would give them the tools so that they can deal with that while they focus on the work. Other food stuffs and general equipment. But, just thinking about that now, it's going to need to be someone that bakes the bread. So we can add a baker. And, yeah, they're going to need a mill of some kind. And, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Alright, they've got a mill. I reckon we'll make that a windmill. Windmills are neat. And... well, if it's a windmill, that means there's not a river, so they're going to need another place to get their water. I think I'll make that... big well. There's a town well. That's where they have all their water. I reckon that should be enough. Surrounding area. There's plenty more we can do here, but we'll work on that later. NPCs. So these are all the more fantastical NPCs and more mechanically interesting NPCs. So there's the cleric and the fighter, and also politically interesting ones. There's the Reeve and Colette Ox. So they're all the ones that are more fancy, but we're going to need all the people generally from about town, and people often aren't on their own whenever they do things, so they will these people will probably need families. You never know, maybe some of them are together. General info, alright. First up, get the leather worker. Just quickly get them all down. Stable. There's the stables. Main leather worker, because they'll probably have an assistant or two from about town. The butcher. baker, and candlestick maker. Cartwright. The woodworker. Oh, the groundskeeper of the cemetery? I feel like that person will probably be someone within the sheaf. The person that owns the general goods store. The mill? The miller? Is that... I suppose I'll just call them that for now. Does someone deal with the town well? No, there will need to be a mason who can deal with any stonework. Because the barracks is made of stone, the well is made of stone, and since they've got a dedicated mason, they may have more stone buildings than most other places. Alright, so these are these people. And then I guess I can work on their families. Yeah, I'll work on their families. Yep. Alright. Does anyone here have a class quickly? I might. The groundskeeper of the cemetery? No, I won't. I reckon all of these people are pretty... Actually, no. Make one secret fancy bet. Make the chandler a wizard. Because I've got some ideas for candles in this world. As we talked about previously. So... And that's sort of stuck in my head for a while, and I'm thinking I might do some more with that. So, well, I don't need to say main leather worker. They are the leather worker of the town, and they'll probably have assistants. That help them when needed. So, let's work on their... Let's do their species first. Who are they all? Leather worker? Decided to make it incredibly diverse, especially on the outer edges of the civilization. Well, maybe not especially, but for the current understanding of it, we'll say for that. So, they can be anything, restricted to the player's handbook for now. We'll figure out what else there is later. The leather worker, we'll make them a halfling. The person that runs the stables can be a wood elf. If you can't tell, this is mostly arbitrary at the moment. We'll see where that goes after we figure out more about the species in the world. The butcher, make the butcher human. Baker, baker can be a gnome. Chandler, wizard. Let's make this person... Also, if anyone watching has any ideas regarding what the species could be, feel free to shout them out. Chandler, wizard. How about we make the Chandler a dwarf? Because we don't think we've got any dwarves yet. Nope. Cartwright. Cartwright can be a half-orc. Woodworker. Actually, they could be siblings. A half-orc and half-elf sibling team. Yeah, I like that. Half-orc, half-elf, half-siblings. Sibling. I'll write that down later. Groundskeeper. I'm imagining a human for that. Human. The general goods store manager. That we bring in another dragonborn. The miller. Now we make the miller a tiefling. And the mason. The mason. Actually, I've got my player's handbook somewhere here, I believe. No, I don't. Never mind about that. How about the mason we make? Another dwarf. We haven't gotten many dwarfs, and dwarf mason is pretty standard. Alright. Okay, so halfling leatherworker. I'll figure out their names later. How about we say that the halfling has worked there for quite some time. I believe halflings live to be about 150. So for now we'll make them 110. They're fairly old. Wood elf. With the elves, I like the idea of subverting the idea. I like the idea of the elves being a young and new race, because we've seen a lot of mystical ancient elves, but we haven't seen a lot of societies where you have this species that matures very slowly, and the vast majority of them are basically children. Not basically children, basically young adults. I'll probably say that there's been like a couple of generations, maybe only one or two. So the wood elves as a species are still finding their feet and still fairly wild and prone to things that young people are prone to. So for this person that runs the stables, let's say that they're at least we'll keep with the elves reach maturity at age 100. So how about we say that they're 130? So they're still only just adults. Butcher, make them 35. They're approaching middle age, but they're still fairly young. The gnome baker. Gnome baker? I actually don't know how long gnomes live. Because of that, I'll make them a fairly bog standard age, because I believe that they mature at the same rate as humans. I'll make them slightly older. The old gnome baker is 56. Dwarf chandler? Secret wizard. Maybe they're old and retired and want to settle down on the outskirts of society, but still work their magic and everything from time to time. Elves live to be about 250 if I recall, so we'll make them about 200. Cartwright. Half-orc. say that the half-orc and half-elf are about the same in maturity. Like, this is where their ages intersect in that regard. So make the half-orc 33, and half-elves live to be about 150, so that's about 1.5, so 40. Yeah, we'll make the half-elf about 47. Yeah, 47. So there's still a decent gap between the two of them, but actually no, that's too big a gap. 37. So there's still a little bit of a gap, but not unreasonable, especially considering one of their parents was human. I'm assuming that's the one that is going to have to be the one that is the same. So yeah, that works. Maybe it's the groundskeeper. No, it's not the groundskeeper. The groundskeeper of the cemetery. Actually, it could be Tom. Back to the cartwright and woodworker. It could be Tom, considering Madison is a half-elf. Anyway, Madison is the nephew. Anyway, human groundskeeper. They were probably once a priest, or still are a priest, but they've gotten a bit old, so now they just tend to the grounds. So we'll make them 63. So they're definitely getting on. Dragonborn lives to be about 80. Owns a general store. I'll say they're fairly young. Let's make them 28. Tiefling Miller. Probably run the mill for most of their life. Say 57. Yeah. And the dwarf mason. Let's make a fairly young dwarf, maybe 118. There we go. We'll do pronouns next. Alright, the halfling leather worker can go by they, them. Just quickly go through this, figure it out. Wood elf. Gender fluid. Often she, her, but can, yeah. But depends on the day. So she, her is the most common one, but depending on the day, maybe they're feeling a bit more masculine. Human butcher. I'm imagining a grizzled, grumpy old guy. Well, not. Oh no, because they're not that old. Or maybe they're on their way to becoming the grizzled, grumpy old guy. So he, him. Gnome baker. They, them. It's all an illusion. Dwarf wizard. Let's make them a he, they. Half-orc siblings. Let's make... Can make them sisters? No, brother and sister combo. This I'm definitely imagining is an old grizzled man. Dragonborn owns a general store. About she, her. Miller. She, they. And the mason, dwarf. He, him. There we go. I reckon that works. Names. Figure out names later. We'll do a singular line of text for each of these people. Maybe even just a single descriptor. Personality of the halfling leather worker. Work-oriented. Loves the craft often uses it. General conversation. So they'll so if you're having a conversation about something, most of the metaphors and stuff that they speak about will have to do with leatherwork. Appearance. Dark skin. Red curly hair. Because I can. Why not? And silver eyes. I like that. Silver eyes. Wood elf. Personality. Wild. Pretty, what? Untamed? I suppose like a horse. Wild, untamed, but... Wild, untamed, and joyful. Just do that. Real simple. Wood elf. Not necessarily pale skin. I'll just say it has freckles. Yeah, I like freckles. Has freckles. Hair is shorn on the side and cut unevenly otherwise. Yeah. Butcher. Butcher's mean. Yeah, I feel like I should have... Actually, I've already got a couple of mean people, don't I? No, I need someone who's mean. But I feel like the Butcher is a good way to go with that. I know it's stereotypical, but since this is a D&D game, it is for players, and the players will often latch onto stereotypes. So, they're mean. Blunt. And abrasive. You say something, you say A, they say, well, no. It's not, oh no, abrasive doesn't have two B's. Appearance. Grizzled. Wears a blood-covered apron. Blood-covered apron and plain clothes. Gnome Baker. I always like the idea of gnomes having really crazy coloured hair and everything, so I'll get to that in a sec. Personality. Baker. Make them just fairly... Speaks fast, but plainly. And often jokes. No. But plainly and is quite personable. Always like seeing the baker. Baker goes around carrying bread, and you always feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Even if you can't necessarily understand what they're saying because of how fast they're speaking. Appearance. Bright. What color? Green, purple, blue? No. Let's go green. Bright green hair. Matching green eyes. And let's say olive skin. I like that. I like that color palette. Green and olive. Yeah. Dwarf Chandler. How can that kind of be? Oh, I know. Personality. Old. Speaks slowly. Often meanders and takes ages to get to the point, much like Treebeard in the Lord of the Rings. They've seen a lot. They take their time. They've had to study for basically their entire life, and they sort of just take it all in very slowly. But the going gets tough. They are a wizard. They have done wizard things before, so they do have some semblance of time. They're just getting old. Appearance. They stay in their tower all day, so they are pale. Maybe they're pale, wrinkled. Oh wait, I forgot. Leatherworker is also old, so let's make them. They've got some wrinkles. Some wrinkles. They've aged better than the old scribe, the old chandler. But the chandler dwarf, they are pale, wrinkled, wears long, dusty robes. Sometimes they sit there, maybe at times they just sit there watching a candle burn, and their clothes get sort of dusty. Has a mop of long grey hair. Cartwright. She is personable and sees most things as something to fix. Something to fix? Yeah, something to fix. If she sees someone sad, she feels it's her responsibility to fix that. Whether or not that goes well depends on the time. She has green skin. Big tusks. She's got big tusks. And long dark hair that she ties up into a high ponytail. Yeah, to get out of the way of work. Woodworker. He is a half-elf. He is not that skinny. That'll go in appearance. I keep thinking of their appearance before I think of their personality. I'm drawing a blank. Is fairly antisocial, preferring to stay inside his workshop. His sister does most of the face-to-face work. Yeah, so I'll say that the cartwright and the woodworker, they have a joint business, and she is often the person that they talk to. If she's not there, they'll probably have an assistant or two between them, because carts are very big, and people often need wood to be fixed. There's most of the face-to-face work. So he's not very good with people. He prefers to just work, focus on that, and staying away from the more business side. He He has... You know what, elves can be a bit funky, so how about we give him sort of almost gold tinted skin and dark eyes, dark hair and eyes. He is toned and wears a leather apron. Groundskeeper. He is a funky old man. Hey, look at me. Funky old man. You know what? That's enough of personality. We can work on the rest. If I ever play him. Appearance. Hunched. Wears holy robes of the sheaf and uses a cane. Just a generic old man. Because we can have generic old men. General store. She... She is all business. Yeah, she's all business. And often gets straight to the point. She doesn't want any funny business. She often gets shit from the people in the barracks. Maybe. But, just wants to sell the... There's lots of people that need lots of stuff in here, so she needs to sell the stuff and move on to the next person. She just doesn't really have time to get into conversation. Or maybe she does every now and again, but she mostly is just all business, and that's sort of bled into her regular life. She... Dragonborns can be many colors. She's a white dragonborn. White scales and piercing blue eyes. Piercing blue eyes. So the business stuff can sometimes come off as cold, despite her not meaning to. So I thought that might be funny. White scales and piercing blue eyes. She wears a couple of pendants around her neck and plain clothes. The miller. They how about she is very calm and collected, and hold themselves highly. They're very one with their self. They work the grain that they're given, and slowly that turns into flour, and they enjoy the repetitiveness of it. They enjoy they feel very scented. Hold themselves well. I don't want to say highly, that makes them sound arrogant. What do they look like? I like the idea of rainbow tieflings, because red, blue, purple, yeah, that's all cool, but like you can have rainbow tieflings, because that's always cool. Oh, and they're getting on a little. The late middle age, approaching old. So how about we say pale pink skin and grey hair tied back into a long braid that goes to her hip. She has very long hair. They're quite proud of it. I reckon that should be good enough. The dwarf. He's blunt, like stone, like rock. Blunt and stubborn. I like the idea of people embodying the things that their professions are. It's pretty fun. Pretty neat. Because while it may not necessarily be realistic, we are playing a fantasy world and writing a story. So it doesn't have to be realistic as long as it's cool. Dwarf. Let's give him... I won't say stubborn. We've already got a stubborn person here, don't we? Stoke, yeah, unyielding. Oh yeah, Kizak, the blacksmith. Kizak is unyielding. Blunt and... Blunt and secure, like a rock. Blunt and secure. They sit there, and you can carve into them. Definitely has a tattoo. Definitely has a tattoo. Has a large tattoo across his back of eagle wings. Of a passage of text. Don't know what that is yet. I'll figure that out later. Or on the fly if need be. Has a large tattoo across his back of a passage of text. Muscular. Works with stone. Has to lift the stones, carve into the stones. Just seems neat. Muscular. Has tan skin and blonde hair, blonde curly hair. Yeah, there we go. I suppose names would be next. I worry that's going to be even more boring than watching me pick out their pronouns. And will take more time than that as well. I thought I was woefully unprepared last time, and I prepared a little bit more, but coming up with a place to get names is probably what I should have prepared next. Alright, I suppose we'll work on the names. Leatherworker, halfling. They are called Weller. Wait a minute. I just realized I don't have the renderer on here. Maybe the leatherworker is also... No, the leatherworker isn't also the renderer. What are you, stupid? Haha. Render it. She-her. Let's make them... human. How many humans? We've already got a couple of humans. Let's make him a tiefling. Near the abyss, gonna be a bunch of tieflings. Getting on, getting on. How about 63? That works. Doesn't have a class. Good berry. Sorry, I just need to come up with the last name. Alright. Renderer. Bubbly. Oh, I just realized that can also be seen as the bubbling of pots. Of horses. But no, they... she is bubbly. And... excitable. Bubbly and excitable. Yeah. That's good enough. Appearance. Make them a plain, regular red-skinned tiefling. Red skin and... red horn and shaved down horns. Yeah, just has some cut off. Get in the way too much. Red skin and shaved down horns. She has black hair and gold eyes. I just realized I didn't describe the miller's horns. The miller has... what other horns do we have so far? I don't want to repeat myself. Tall, straight horns. Ah, well. Easy for me. Let's make them ram horns. Ram-like horns. Alright. Renderer. Her name. Something... no, I'm just gonna basically do the first things that come to my mind. Shay? Shay? Wood Elf? Milton. Got lots of M's. Let's not do M's now. Human. Gerard. Gnome. They are called... what gnomes can be... we can make them... we can make gnomes funky. Fistello. Fistello. That works. That's not really that funky. Probably could have gone more funky. The Chandler. Dwarf. Could even be a fake name. Brock. Brot? Brot. Fake. Yeah. Cartwright. Her name... no M's, no M's. Vera. Last name because they will... she's going to need a last name for her brother as well. Vera... human last name. Could be Tom. It's Tom's last name. Do they have a last name? Don't think they've got a last name yet. Vera Mistletoe, because I like that. And then the brother is Forthel. No, Forthel. Don't want to name him Forthel. Ilian? Yeah, Ilian Mistletoe. Mistletoe is a name. Maybe the world has very big plant reverence, something like that. Groundskeeper. Something old. Well, I think of old names. Richard? Could do Richard. Yeah, his name's Richard. Shortened to Dick. Just cuz. Dragonborn. What's the other Dragonborn? Marek. I probably shouldn't have had an M. I can be a... Dragons don't have lips, so M probably wouldn't help, so... Maybe that can be just an adopted name. How about... Julia. That works. Julia Whitefang. If I come up with a last name, then I will add it. Miller, Tiefling. Maybe that. I reckon their last name will be Miller. So someone Miller. Demon named Miller. Hello, hello. No. Kikestia. No, because that was shortened to kick, and I don't want that to be the thing. Kilkestia, shorten their name to Kill. Yes, I know who you are, Marcy. I just prefer to refer to people by their tags in case people watch again and want to know who the hell are you talking about. Kistel Miller. That works. And the Mason. Their last name can be Mason because I like that. It is a good emote, the puppy emote. Just about finished actually. So you may have come just as I finished naming this last NPC. Don't want to do B, but O. I haven't got any O names yet. OVR? OVR Mason. Yeah, that works. OVR Mason. Alrighty. I think we have all the NPCs we would need, and their general descriptions for what is required. The rest of the stuff don't need names, they're just the renderer, the chandler, the butcher, the cartwright. Actually, maybe the general goods store. No, it can just be... who owns the general goods store? It's further up. Julia's shop. I'll actually write that down. Which will be Julia's shop. The general goods store. Alright. I think I think we've got Forthel done and dusted, because I'm pretty sure they'll have fairly similar politics to the rest of the world, and we'll figure that out when I decide on the views and values of the rest of the greater world. So, for my 2 viewers, you get to decide on what we'll be doing next, because we've only got 4 minutes left of this stream. So, finished Forthel, so we won't do that next time. But, there's a couple things we can work on. We can do the broader strokes of the world's government, which would probably include their views and values. Religion and cosmology, again, views and values. Species, that can just be how they came about, which species are new, which species are old, the percentage of the population, etc. We can work on a map for either Forthel, since we've got all of this here, or the larger country, in which we would also come up with cities, regions, etc. So, what do people want to see next? Any of these things we can do. I'm leaving this up to chat now. Although, I've got 2 viewers, so I don't know if any of these really appeal to any of you. If not, I'll just think about it and decide before the next episode. Map? Alright. Map of which one? Do we want the town or the larger country? Transfer back to this screen, because we are now done with OneNote for today. So, larger country or just Forthel, what we've been working on last episode and this episode. The entire country? Alrighty then. So, next episode we'll be working on the rest of the generally known world for these people. What lands surround Forthel, and what the major power centers and structures are. So, suppose that will do for tonight's stream. Next stream is on Thursday, so hope to see you there. Catch you later.